What's up, Big Steve?
Shout out Michael Bisbin. UFC 320 betting breakdown. Great card. I like it. Pay-per-views usually do well betting pay-per-views. I have a bet. I'll have some more. So we'll go over the leans and we'll try cash in. Made one unit on the Dana White Contender Series. We'll talk about it later. So continue the streak. In terms of Contender Series, I did a giveaway for making over 200,000 profit in 7 years. Not amazing. I'm not going to be rich from that, but we spend like 70% at least of the time either being tilted, thinking I wish I won more, being annoyed, getting robbed. So it's good to think about the positives, and 200,000, it's a nice little landmark. I'm happy with that. So I gave away 2-3 months for free in the Discord, Big Brand MMA Discord on that Dana White Contender Series. One guy guessed Jordan to win in rounds 2-3, and the other guy played the Mexican that knocked out Kuzava, the African, and so I like that bet. Moneyline, he's the only one that played it. So I gave 2 guys. So the competition's still running. Leave a comment to go in the running if you want 3 months in the Discord. They're both in there right now. The bet that wins with the best odds that's posted first will get it, right? There has to be 20 comments on this video. There has to be 50 likes on this video, and the winner has to be subscribed. No same game parlays. Keep it simple. Totals, overs, props, inside the distance, rounds. No same game parlays. Don't complicate it. If it's too complicated, I'll just be annoyed and I won't give you the win if you do win. And don't edit your comments, right? So take your time, write your bet, write your odds at the time, and write the bookie. 20 comments, must be subscribed, no editing. The video must have 50 likes. All right, let's get into it. Like a team, lock in, lads. Indeed, let's lock in. Golfer, Big Steve, good to see you live again. Been a while. Golfer, welcome, my friend. Good to have you in. All right, let's get into it. So, Veronica Hardy, Brogan Walker. I'm not interested in this fight. All right, Walker is not UFC level. Veronica Hardy is. The odds make sense. Will Hardy finish her or not? That's the only thing we can really evaluate. Traditionally, Hardy not the best finisher, although she gets close. She gets close. She has a sub. She beat JJ Aldridge. She hurt her multiple times. She hurt Juliana Miller many times. Not the best finisher. So I'm not sure I want to tape this in depth to see do I want to play it or not. All right, let's move on. Ramiz, Brahimaj, Austin Vanderford. Interesting one. This one, there's many avenues, right? You can play the under again because Ramiz, Brahimaj, early rounds, he's live, right? He can get a KO as we've seen against Mickey Gall. He can get a sub, very live on the sub. But then again, if he gets taken down once and he can't find the sub, he doesn't get up, he'll probably gas. He'll probably gas, right? He looked really good in his last 2 fights against Mickey Gall and Billy Goff. And I played the under 2.5 rounds against Goff. And I only played a unit. And I remember second guessing myself. It was one of those ones where Goff hasn't been subbed. And wow, will it do it? It's obviously 1.5 rounds for Brahimaj. After that, I'm relying on Goff to swamp him. And that was a smash spot. That was a smash spot because it hit round 1 sub. Vanderford hasn't been subbed ever. But he has been knocked out twice in round 1. Gegard Mousasi, where he picked up a shoulder injury off a takedown attempt. And Aaron Jeffrey dropped him like 2-3 times before finishing him. So that could happen here. And I also feel like potentially Austin Vanderford down the stretch could pound him out. We saw recently, back in Bellator, Austin Vanderford is kind of just lying on dudes. But you look at it, that's Fabian Edwards and some others, right? You saw in his last fight against... what's his name? Veretennikov. He held his arm behind his back and he pounded him out. So, Brahimaj, this is the guy that was dropped by Court McGee. So anything is possible. A lot of people are referencing his fight with Themba Grimbo. I mean, that's the fight that he was coming off a massive layoff and neck surgery, man. I would give him a little bit of slack there. I think he's riding high. He's got some confidence. So I reckon the under 2.5. What's the 2.5 here? Again, don't overthink it. Hope that it's a Ramiz easy KO or sub, and then hope that Brahimaj can, flake. Wow, plus 140 for the other two and a half. What's inside? What's fight inside the distance? Wow, big difference between 2.5 and doesn't go. About 50 cents. Plus 140 to pick him. That's it. That's what you want. Alrighty. Or you can play Brahimaj round 1, round 2, and Austin Vanderford round 2, round 3. Right? Alrighty. Punahele Soriano versus Nikolay Veretennikov. Right? We just spoke about Veretennikov. This is, from a betting perspective, right? It's never Punahele at this price. Right? I know everyone's raving on about him about being this beast at welterweight, but I honestly think that he hasn't really beaten anyone good. Right? Uroš Medic is a good win, but he cold cocked him straight away, and Uroš can be finished. And Miguel Baeza, just despite his age, completely washed, chinny, flaky fighter, and Soriano just rinsed him. I think Baeza might be retired now before he even turned 30. So yeah, this is he's still the same fighter. He's just at a better weight class. He still lost to Dustin Stolford, for goodness sakes. But on the other side, I have to bet a 35-year-old Veretennikov who's gassy and who has just super, super bad IQ. And yeah, I mean, they gave him Francisco Prado, and he had everything going for him. He hurt Prado bad in round 1 with a slam, gets taken down. He hurt him in round 2 with strikes, gets, throws a spinning wheel kick, gets taken down. And it's like, surely you won't do this in round 3. And he throws something spinning and he gets taken down, gets mounted, but he gets up and wins a split. So that's for Francisco Prado, man. Soriano's better. He's bigger, he's better wrestler, more power. So it's a tough fight. Tough fight for me to bet. If I had to bet anything, I would look at the under as well here. Let me just have a look on my book. Why is Veretennikov all the way down? That's so annoying. It's a 1.5. I wonder what the 2.5 is. Let's have a quick look. I think Veretennikov also has power to knock out Punahele Soriano. Puna hasn't really been hit by anyone. Not by Medic, not by Baeza. Veretennikov was hurting Prado, who's insanely durable to the body. So, and Puna's been hurt to the body by Kopylov, dropping down to welterweight. We might see that here. So fight doesn't start round 3. Fight ends inside the distance, a little bit better than minus 100. That's a bit shit. Under 2.5. Yeah, it's a bit chalky. All right. Tough fight to bet. All right, what do we got for comments? Subhuman, hey, what's up, my friend? Puna's takedown clinic live. Yeah, I mean, they're just going to be there, the takedowns, with how stupid Veretennikov is. Golf, Nikolay's not good, plus those random spin kicks. Yeah, he's very gassy. Don't mind the under. Do worry Puna can lay and pray. Yeah, I mean, he really should have got Baeza out of there. That was like one guy that's super incredibly finishable, and Puna couldn't do it. But, we have to say that on another day, some refs would have called that fight. Baeza was taking a beating, so you never know. End of the day, Nikolay, this is a guy that was pounded out by Vanderford, who is a decision machine. So who knows, if Nikolay is gassed and he ends up on bottom like he has ended up on bottom against Prado 3 different times, Puna could, just lay the King Kong ground and pound on him. 6 round, go the distance. Anything's possible, mate. Anything's possible. Alrighty. Next fight. Patchy mix Jakub Wiklacz. I love this fight. Bellator champion versus KSW champion. I want to see more of this stuff in the UFC, in the Premier promotion. A lot of people are laying, minus very, very chalky line on Patchy mix. And honestly, it makes more sense than, the similar price that he was against Mario Batista. You look at Jakub and you're like, this guy's not bad, 16-3. But then on his tape, it's just like, pulling guard, easy to take down, getting hurt. Honestly, they have a lot of similarities. They both have an elite guillotine choke. They're both bad minute winners, in my opinion. Although I will say Patchy mix is a slightly better minute winner. He probably has better takedowns. He definitely has the better striking. He's out there knocking out one shot, knocking out Stotts. He's kind of doing well on the feet against Magomedov, which is why Magomedov actually shot in that guillotine. So he's not bad. He's improving his game. And even in round 3 against Mario Batista, he was lighting up Batista, right? Some of those shots that landed, Batista didn't like it. So I think his striking is still improving. He's only 32, but yeah, he has his issues. He's not a good minute winner, and he hasn't really fought many good grapplers, right? He did lose to Archuleta, who, much better wrestler, better cardio than Jakub. And then, other guys that he's fought, Conor Gallagher had some deep guillotines on him and, had top time. You don't want to put your head in a guillotine against the Jakub Wiklacz. That's his best chance. So I don't know how I feel about the money line. If anything, I would just play Patchy inside the distance, right? Because he's a bad winner, minute winner, he does finish a lot of guys. Jakub has been knocked out before, but he's never been subbed. Let me just have a quick look. He's been knocked out twice, actually. He got knocked out in ACB. He got heel hooked when he was in 2016, but what was he then? 20 years old. So, yeah. But Patchy's got that guillotine that I reckon could get anyone. He's got many, many good grapplers with it. So, yeah, Patchy inside the distance if I had to. I don't know how much finishing upside I give to Wiklacz. I feel like it's literally a guillotine choke from his end as well. But yeah, the money line, I can't do the money line, man. It's disgusting. Disgusting price. Golfer, feels like they're similar fighters, but Patchy's just better. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Macy Chiasson, Yana Santos. From a betting perspective, a bit of a disgusting fight. Again, Macy at -200, never. She's a horrible minute winner. I'm saying that again. We haven't really seen how stupid she is in a while. She had a couple back-to-back wins, which looked better than they were. Pani, Kianzad, lucky to even be ranked, and Mora Bueno Silva, on an epic. She was an epic high roll, and now she's on an epic downswing because she's not the best fighter. And when she fought someone good, that's well put together, like Ket and Vieira, 30-27, almost had no success in 15 minutes and doing stupid shit, rolling. Sayuri saying get up, and she's like doing Imanari rolls and just get up, stand up, stop rolling. Like, it's not stupid shit, right? I hate myself for not betting Vieira there as an underdog, but I just thought there's always a chance that Macy can get a mean finish. And that's how I feel about here. Yana's going to be the way better decision equity fighter and minute winner, right? Like, ever since the pregnancy, she's looked better than ever, in my opinion, right? Obviously, Holly Holm rinsed her, but, round 1, she did well against Holly Holm, and then she kind of got snowballed. Carla Hosa, I live bet Hosa after round 1, expecting snowball. But Yana Santos kept it competitive the whole time. Chelsea Chandler rinsed her, handled accordingly. And Misha Tate, I bet Misha Tate because of what happened in round 3. But I had that bad feeling. I was like, do I just leave this for live bet? Because the way Yana is looking, she's going to win round 1 clear. Because Misha Tate's wrestling is a bit overrated. And, yeah, couldn't get anything. It was kind of lighting her up, She doesn't have much power, but she was dropping it with calf kicks. She was landing some big shots to the head. Macy Chiasson, she's a plotter. She doesn't have good defense. The same thing could happen here. But then Macy, if Macy hits her, it's going to be a big difference in power. But Macy's probably going to try grapple. Her wrestling is also shit. Yeah, should fight. Yeah, it's a dog or pass. Maybe Yana Santos' decision. It's always decision for her. Like, she just can't get a finish. What's the difference between decision and money line? Let me have a look. It's probably like 0.5 cents if the bookies are sharp. Come on. Open up. All right. And inside the distance, plus 160. That correlates with Macy. Santos wins inside the distance. Cool. Santos wins. Wow. It's almost the same. That's disgusting. All right, move on. Daniel Santos versus Drew Sang-Yu. All right, Daniel Santos live favorite, and honestly, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to play his chalky money line. Right, he used to be an underdog. That would have been a great bet. Money's coming on him, sharp action. But yeah, he's more UFC proven. Zhang Yongyu, he has some hype behind him. That's why he opened a favorite. Killed Jacka in less than a minute. Very nice counter. And I will say that counter will be there against Daniel Santos because the guy is extremely hittable. Extremely, extremely hittable. Never been knocked out, but gets knocked down multiple times against John Castaneda. Julio Arce was lighting him up, and John Yongli dropped him, was lighting him up. But just insane hardware just to keep coming forward, consistent takedowns. That was on short notice as well, and the guy just didn't gas. So just for the sheer brutality of Daniel Santos and durability, and how he'll come forward, I lean him. He just feels like a safer bet. Jang Sung Yu, I'm kind of relying on him to get a KO. He's fought nobody, literally nobody. His best win is Ronaldo Exon, who fought in PFL. I don't really know what Ronaldo's been up to. Let me have a quick look. Ronaldo Exon, let me just have a look. 18-8. He lost to Cabasa before that in EFC. He lost to Bubba Jenkins in PFL, right? Marcelo Marquez. So, okay. I mean, honestly, Ronaldo Exon is not that great either, to be honest. He's not UFC level, despite his nice little record. So, and then his other win over this Kawana guy, he was on road to UFC, but he's an extremely chinny grappler, and he knocked him out in round 1. So, these other guys, Shimizu, he doesn't have a good win. He literally, doesn't have a good win. So, I'm inclined to believe that he's more hype than substance, right? Could he knock out Daniel Santos? Yes, I do believe so. The counters are going to be there. He's very slick. But Exon was taking him down. He also took Exon down and took his back. But Exon has that hole in his game. We're not going to see that from Willie Cat Santos. All right, so I'm leaning Santos, but the line keeps on going. I don't know if there's any more value there. You can rely on Santos to get dropped. So maybe I'll just jump in live. I jumped in live versus the Korean Tiger at plus money. So we'll see. I'll have my finger on the button and potentially look to live bet Santos again, because just at minus money, there's a slight chance he gets killed. So I'll leave it, but yeah, him will pass for sure. Like a team, I think Chiasson KO, Yana moneyline, Chiasson moneyline. I mean, Chiasson moneyline can be all the way down the bottom. I would even play the chalky over 2.5 rounds over Chiasson moneyline. Alrighty. Santos Yu fight doesn't go. Feels like a great price at plus. Really can't there to be hit, but we'll cook if not dead it early. Yeah, my issue is I've lost so much money on the Santos unders. The only one I hit was the Castaneda one. Right, I played Muniz one, didn't hit. Jong Yong Lee, I didn't play that because of my fear from not cashing the Julio Arce under as well. That's when Julio Arce looked really bad on the scales and his chin's not the best and still couldn't get it under. But just on you, I don't know anything about his chin, so that's my issue there. Subhuman, Santos is the side, especially if you got early price. Yeah, but yeah, we don't have that, unfortunately. Alrighty. Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. I honestly think this is one of the better parlay pieces on the card. I'm still looking for another one. I think Farid, they matched them up really good here. Takedowns, I'm not going to say they're going to be free against Chris Gutierrez, but when he gets them, Chris ain't getting up. Chris has no finishing upside. Just got past John Castaneda barely. I will look at some, Farid plus 1 takedown, 2 takedowns. They'll boost it enough. It's kind of like Michelle Montague last week. If you're going to play her money line, one takedown is, even if it's only giving you 10 cents, it's a lock. Farid's not standing there for 3 rounds with Gutierrez. So he's already beat much better guys than Guts. Alrighty. Edmen Shahbazyan, Andrew Muniz. So this is my first bet. All right. Let me look at 6 ounce comment. Farid sub will be fun, don't know, when Guti does everything in his power to weasel his way. Yeah, I mean, Gutierrez is very hard to submit. Finish, I should say, so there's that. But if you're going to finish him, it'll be submission. Like old mate Barcelos back in the day. Prime Barcelos, should be said. All right, Edmen Shahbazyan versus Andrew Muniz. So I have the under 1.5 rounds here, $1.77 on Bet Online. All right, I was passing initially, but then just money keeps on coming on the over, and I'm reverse CLV'd. More people are playing the over. I feel like that's a bit reactionary, recency bias, because people just saw Andrei Petrosky get knocked out by Cam Ralston in round 1, and they're like, wow, Edmen Shahbazyan couldn't knock out someone as chinny as Andrei Petrosky. This fight's going over, right? Oh, he couldn't get someone as chinny as Gerald Meerschaert, who everyone gets out in round 1. that's going over. But honestly, I get that, and maybe this should be pick 'em. 50% chance he goes over or under. It just depends on how Edmen fights. If he's going to be extremely, extremely patient, or he keeps hurting guys and backing off, then yeah, he could be pick 'em. But just from the sheer value perspective and capping perspective, you have to give the under 60%. It has to be favored, minimum, right? With the power of Edmen and with the chin of Muniz, it has to be 60%. Edmen can kill anyone in the UFC in the first round, right? We've seen him hurt almost every single opponent. He's knocked out durable guys like Butka and AJ Dobson and Brad Tavares. Funnily enough, he didn't knock out extremely weak guys like GM3, but just from a value perspective, it has to be 60%. So 60% odds converter. I don't really know. I'm bad with my 60%. $1.67. That gives me 10 cents. 10 cents of value from the bet online line that I played, but otherwise it's 13 cents now. But if you give it 65%, which I think maybe is close to minus 200, right? That's probably too much actually. Yeah. So ultimately, Andre Muniz, he can die first strike that lands. Right. The first strike that landed against Ikram Iskarov, he died. He hit him on the temple. He fell down. He was done. Paul Craig, in less than 2.5 minutes, Paul Craig would have got him out of there in under 1.5 rounds. Of all people, right? So what I will say is Edmen Shahbazyan, he gets most of his knockouts through counters, right? Dylan Butka came at him, pull back, 1-2, knocked him out. Beautiful pull counter. AJ Dobson rocked him. When he got up, there was swinging. He pull countered, knocked him out. Gerald Meerschaert, when he was chasing Gerald, couldn't get anything off. He was there for the kill, couldn't get anything off. So when Gerald came at him in round 2, Edmen countered him to the body, hurt him. So he's a counter striker. Obviously, Andrei Petrosky just kept running away from him. So hopefully, I have to look into it some more. I have to assess what Andre Muniz will do here. But yeah, hopefully Andre Muniz is not running away. So that's going to be very tilting because Edmen can't really chase the finish. But surely someone in Edmen's camp after GM3, after Petrosky, they tap him on the shoulder and they say, "Hey man, this is an easy round 1 KO. Just go in there, get this guy out of there. We don't have to be in there for 15 minutes." But who knows? Alrighty. Ateba Gautier, Treston lines. I mean, I played a really, really chalky Ozzy Diaz under 1.5 rounds, and now they've given him an even shinnier Treston lines on short notice. I would probably play that same under 1.5 rounds, but we don't have totals yet. So maybe Gutierrez round 1, maybe Gutierrez under half a round, maybe gone in 60 seconds. We'll see. Joe Pyfer versus Amos Magomedov. Onto the main card now. Let me look at the comments. FIFA Gaming. Within the first minute, you're going to win or lose this bet. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, mate. I mean, you could have 3 minutes of staring, and Edmen can knock him out with a jab. So you just don't know. What I will say is you'll probably be sweating. You will be sweating the whole way till the KO comes, because these guys they won't be forcing a fight. John Dong, what's up? Lucky team, medium arm punched. Hopefully. 6 rounds. Under 1.5 is minus 900. Wow. That's interesting. Minus 900. Oh, wow. Worse than Ozzy Diaz. That's a surprise. Makes me think my Ozzy Diaz under had value. Alrighty. Joe Pyfer, Amos Magomedov. What I'm going to play here is ends in round 1 and 2. All right, under 1.5 rounds is plus money. I left it. I would have got reverse to your lead. So basically, my thing is, I think Joe Pyfer is going to stiff him. He's one of the hardest hitters in the division, if not the hardest. I think he can get Amos in round 1. I think he can make him do the fencing response. Amos is very negative. Right, so he will run away, but he still gets dropped. The Hulk dropped him in under 1.5 rounds, couldn't finish him. I think Pyfer's a lot harder to take down. But just because Amos is extremely, extremely gassy, even in low output fights, I wanted to get the extra 2.5 minutes in round 2. If Joe Pyfer, he's just pressuring him, he can't get to him, and Amos is kind of slowing, I want to give him the extra 2.5 minutes to kill him. I'm not playing Joe Pyfer Brown KO like some of the others, or his money line, I do think that this is one of the tougher matchups that he's faced in the UFC outside of Hermanson. So I'm not completely writing out Abus Magomedov. The guy hits like a truck himself. He hurt Pereira. Say what you will about Pereira. Michel Pereira is incredibly durable. He hurt Pereira with a lead check hook. He's very explosive. He's very fast. If Pyfer's going to come in there not defensively responsible, you never know. So I give a little bit of a boost finishing upside. He finished Pereira. Pereira not at the right time. He almost finished Pereira. He got Dustin Stolfitz out of there in 19 seconds, and most of his finishes are early. Right. Alrighty. So that's it. Round 1 or 2. Josh Emmett, Youssef Zalal. I just take this one, and I'm really considering Josh Emmett. Right, 3-rounder. The guy, in my opinion, is nowhere near as washed as Kevin Qatar. We just saw Kevin Qatar and his performance against Garcia. The guy doesn't throw. He's always been a jab and 1-2 merchant. Josh Emmett closes the distance incredibly fast. He's going to pressure Zalal. 29-28, like Zalal got against Kevin Qatar. There's got to be some value. Josh Emmett fought a similar matchup in Murphy, and kept it competitive, man. Very competitive fight. But I will say Zalal does have better striking, but he doesn't have the power or physicality of Murphy. So it's a dog or pass, man. Dog or pass. See if I'll get on it. I will say Zalal's kicks will be there, calf kicks, and the knee up the middle could be there. Josh Emmett, much shorter. He ducks into things. I think Zalal could crack him. Maybe the under 2.5 is sneaky. We'll see. Jiri Prakash versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. I still have the same lean as before. I liked the over 1.5 rounds. And it's taken some action now. So it's a bit less tempting. It's just I need to reevaluate, do I want to take that risk? I do think Jiri can kill anyone at any moment. But generally, his fights go over. Right? His fight with Reyes went over, even though it was a back-and-forth war. They both got hurt. Pretty much everything went right. He kept hurting Glover, went all the way to round 5. Pereira went to round 2, almost went to round 3 the first time they fought, and that could have ended at any moment. Really bad defense from both guys, Pereira and Jiri, but they were just staring at each other a bit. And second time, Pereira handled more accordingly. And Jamal Hill, hurt Jamal Hill in round 1, went over, nothing in round 2, almost made it to this decision. So, and Rakic went over barely. So I don't know. I think I might be forcing it a bit, but I do think Khalil is quite durable. We see that against Pereira, and I do think the way he's going to fight early, just stick and move and look to counter Jiri, who's going to be much more open, and calf kick him. I think because of that, the fight will extend. I don't think in a 3-rounder that Khalil is going to want to go in there and brawl. I think he has the cardio. He knows he has the cardio to fight a smart fight for 15 and try counter and shut down Jiri. Because you can do it, right? Rakic did it. Rakic kept hurting him with leg kicks. He kept countering to the head. Obviously, Khalil hits much harder. I was very impressed with what he did to Jamal Hill, right? He didn't drop him until, 2, 3, 4, fourth rounds. He still shut him down and then didn't exert any energy, and he still had the power to drop him later on when Hill became more aggressive. So I'm kind of considering Khalil, man. I'm considering Khalil, but I think that's why I like the over 1.5 rounds. I think it correlates with Khalil being more patient. So that's where I'm at, but bit of a shit show fight. Can Khalil get knocked out late? Man, it took Pereira 4 rounds. 4 rounds and gassing. 4 rounds and gassing. That was more of an attritional. Alrighty. Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. I mean, I get the people liking the Corey Sandhagen fight. I just feel like he's ultimately a slim margins kind of guy, especially with this type of opposition that he's lost to many times. I think maybe he can win a round or so. I think Sean O'Malley honestly had more of a chance to one-touch Merab and kill him. He has more of a death touch, whereas Corey Sandhagen is overall, I think, a less flimsy fighter, less flaky, more durable, and less scared of the grappling, unlike Sean. Like, Sean needs to avoid it at all costs. It gasses him out. He's like running away. He's tripping on the cage. Whereas Corey, he's happy to give you his back. He'll roll. He's good at avoiding dominant positions and getting up. he did well against Umar. Honestly, I'm very surprised that was a 50-45 and 49-46, but it's just a slim margins fight. And the minus the plus 3.5 handicap, it seems accurate to me. It's a pick'em. I really expected plus money. Like Corey Sandhagen is a $4 underdog, plus 300. I expected something better. And honestly, Merab, if you played the 5.5 handicap against Umar, Umar would have got that. It was 5 points. But honestly, I don't know with Corey, man. I think Umar is a better striker, more explosive, better grappler, and he barely got those rounds. So Corey's going to be kicking on the outside, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. No, nothing I like at the moment. Maybe some takedown props, but we'll see. Magomedov, Ankalaev, and Alex Pereira. Yeah, from a betting perspective, I'm not really interested in this fight. I bet Ankalaev last time. It was an easy bet at plus money. Now he's a huge favorite, and honestly, it's clearly dog or pass. Right, that fight was very competitive. I honestly thought I might lose it because there was a chance that it was 2-2 going into the fifth, and I thought Ankalaev lost the fifth. He couldn't really sniff a takedown. He won based off a lot of cage control and a clear round in round 2 when he hurt him. So I was pleasantly surprised by those scorecards. But yeah, I mean, it's just Pereira, Like, if you can't take him down, he has to strike with him. He doesn't address the calf kicks. It was a lot more competitive than the current line indicates. But then again, Pereira's old now. If I had to play anything, I'll play the under. But again, I feel like I'm relying on something special. I'm relying on a one-punch KO. I'm relying on that one hook from Pereira. Ankalaev, might drop him. I don't want to rely on Ankalaev finishing him. He only finishes the Dalcher Langbulas and Johnny Walkers of the world. So, and the Macy and Prachnios. Yeah, I'm kind of not interested in anything on this fight. It's unfortunate. So yeah, that's where we're at. Look at the comments and we'll get out of here. I have to be somewhere in like 10 minutes. Pyfer in a 3-rounder is tough to beat. He is, man. He is. I will say some of the shots that Kevin Gastelum made, my boots is going to sleep. Peter K. I'll be in the arena, 12 beers deep, and we'll have a quick trigger on booing Zalal housing activity. Nice, Peter. Zalal by split plus 1,500. Wow, not bad. How do you think light heavyweight Jalton will do against Ang? Ankalaev would probably knock out Jalton, and Pereira could knock him out too, but he should. Jalton would maul him on the ground. Roundtree's resume much weaker than I recall. Best win post Achilles heel. I just don't think Roundtree's that bad. I think everyone is rushing to fade Khalil all the time, and I think he's much better than people give him credit for. Like, yeah, he doesn't have many good wins, but he's fighting who they've given him. They gave him Anthony Smith, they gave him Pereira, they give him Dolkis, Dustin Jacoby. Like, he's doing. I think he's still improving. Jury over sounds scary, of course. MMA guy, what I miss? I'm not doing PFL, man, because I'm in a rush. But what did you miss? You missed me shitting on a lot of these fights, right? Pass, Ramiz, Brahimaj, the under 2.5 doesn't go, maybe. Punahele, Soriano, yeah, the under, I guess. Patchy mix, I kind of like him inside the distance. Chiasson, Santos, I mean, it's a dog or pass. Daniel Santos versus you, I honestly prefer Santos, even at minus money, but I might just live bet it. Farid, I think, is a parlay piece. Mix it in with some takedown props. Edmen Shahbazyan, I have the under 1.5 rounds. I think it should be at least 60%, if not higher. Hopefully, Edmen doesn't make me break my TV again. Treston Lyons, Gautier, there's going to be some sort of inside the distance props there. Joe Pyfer, I'm going to play rounds 1 and 2. Not him, just the fight ends in round 1 and 2 when it opens up. Josh Emmett is a clear dog or pass. Khalil Roundtree, man, it's a dog or pass for me. Jury, you have to live bet Jury. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get dropped at some point. He's going to get calf kicked. Wouldn't be playing minus 200 in Jury. Marab, dog or pass, and main event dog or pass. I'm not really interested in those fights. So that's it. I got one bet. I'll definitely have 2. Joe Pyfer 1 and 2, and we'll find some more. I'm looking for a parlay piece with Farid, and we're going to make some bank. All right. Thanks for listening. Peace out. Like, subscribe. MMA guy. Bet Roundtree, money line and KO. Good stuff. I don't think the KO is going to happen, but money line is not bad. All right. Peace out.